Today we're taking a look at the Poké Nade Pokemon Friends Poké Ball from Takara Tomy, and I filmed the first unboxing separately, and I realized after kind of running through the device that I wanted to retake some of the functionality. So let's unbox it and then I'll come back on and explain some of the functions that this device has. Today we're taking a look at the Poké Nade, which is a virtual pet from Japan. It is produced by Takara Tomy, and you can raise 7 different Pokemon. And the gimmick of this device is that you can pet them. So the top of the Pokeball is touch sensitive, and you can pet your Pokemon and have fun with them. This device is actually the first one, I believe, to my knowledge, that actually lets you choose between English and Japanese. There have been a number of Pokeball style electronic toys from Takara Tomy. This one is more of a virtual pet than others have been. Before we open it up, I do want to say a huge thank you to our patrons on Patreon and our subscribers on Twitter. Thank you so much for your support. It means so much and helps us make videos and content like this. So if you want to join, check out our Patreon. And another huge thank you to Meta Japan, our website sponsor. And thank you also for supplying us with this Pokeball to unbox today. Here is the ball itself out of the package. The battery compartment is at the bottom there. It features 3 different buttons here on the front and kind of a smooth surface, and I guess maybe that's capacitive touch sensitive there. And then of course you have the screen in the middle. There's also, I guess, the speaker on this side there. And it does come with a simple instruction booklet for putting in batteries and navigating through the device. There's also a QR code for additional instructions online. I think that's kind of an initiative to cut down on waste. And if you do happen to purchase one of these or another Takara Tomy toy with the QR instruction codes, I do highly recommend that you print those and have a physical copy to keep, just in case they do delete those off the internet, because that is not guaranteed to be available forever. The device takes 4 AAA batteries, which you can insert. So to turn on the device, you're supposed to hold the confirmation button, the center button, for 3 seconds. Up here is also the reset button, by the way. So we do have power, success. And I guess when it starts up immediately, you can choose which language you would like it to be in. So you can play in Japanese or English. And for the sake of this video, we're going to use English. Next, you can enter your name, changing letters with the left and right buttons. I do wish you could hold down the left and right buttons to scroll more quickly through here. And actually, I didn't know that you had like a skin color choice. That is interesting. The top 2 colors, even in person, seem very similar. I'm just gonna go with the second one. It does make sense though, because I believe your hand will show up in an animation when you're petting the Pokemon. So that's actually a cool inclusion, and I like to see that. We'll set the time here real quick. So I guess you are going to be using the motion controls here to stir. All right, the whole top, I guess, is touch sensitive. I need to be more aggressive. I don't think I did very well on that. All right. I thought I was making a cake. I guess I was making a smoothie. Looks like we were able to catch Pikachu, and I don't know if you could hear it, but this device actually does have vibration built in. So it shows me that I've caught one out of the total of 157 Pokemon available in the device. All right, hopefully Pikachu likes that. Can I stop petting now? Oh. So starting off, as mentioned, there are a total of 7 partner Pokemon you can have on this device, and you collect them at specific checkpoints or when you meet certain criteria. So as long as you're playing with the virtual pet, you'll end up getting all 7, and you can actually switch between these just on the home screen using the arrow buttons at the bottom. So if I switch, I can see the partner Pokemon that I've collected so far. So the first aspect of this device is just having these partner Pokemon and being able to interact with them. And interaction kind of boils down to the petting mechanic, so you can pet forward and backwards, and then also side to side. And that can be a little bit finicky. But overall, what you'll notice here is that Sprigatito has a full heart, one full heart of friendship, and all Pokemon keep track of their affection separately. And you can see Fuecoco there is a little bit maybe standoffish. And so each Pokemon actually goes through different looks on the home screen depending on their affection level. I would say that if you're used to Tamagotchi, then something that might be disappointing is just that there's kind of a lack of animation of the actual Pokemon when you're looking at it. So Sprigatito now is friendlier and is looking at me a little bit more. However, it's still just kind of like a sprite bouncing up and down. So whether or not that gets drastically better as the hearts fill up, I'm not sure yet and I can't confirm. But I just wanted to note that, something a little bit different maybe than other virtual pets that are always moving around the screen or something when the device is on. So the partner Pokemon also have different animations. So like if I am rubbing Sylveon, you can see that Sylveon has a different kind of sprite when it's up close and getting attention from you. And that is a little bit different than the friend Pokemon. The friend Pokemon are kind of the secondary Pokemon that you can take care of. So if you press on the center button, you can go to the main menu and choose to have your friend list. And your friend list is going to show you the other Pokemon that you've collected so far. It will also show you the top scores there at the beginning of your different modes. and you can see the Pokemon that you have collected. So these yellow ones are the partner Pokemon. And you can also, if you would like to, have a friend Pokemon. So we're going to go with Shuckle, and it'll show me some basic information about Shuckle, and then also the friendship level there. You can see if we scroll through the Pokemon, Shuckle actually has a little bit more affection because I had Shuckle out the other day. And if I choose Become Friends, that's actually going to bring Shuckle to the home. So now I can go back using a long press. I have to go back through all the menus. And now I have a yard scene where my friend Pokemon is kind of moving around, and I also have my active partner Pokemon. So you actually have 2 Pokemon out when you have a friend Pokemon. But you can still change which partner Pokemon you have next to your friend Pokemon by using an arrow. So if I want Pikachu out, if I want Sprigatito out, if I want Fuecoco out, I can have it next to it. I don't think that they have an option to not have a partner Pokemon. I think you're always going to have 2 Pokemon out together if you have a friend Pokemon. I don't know. Fuecoco and Shuckle just shared a moment. I don't know. The Pokemon themselves, when you're caring for them, do not necessarily require food or snacks or anything like maybe a Tamagotchi would. Instead, they do have thought bubbles kind of explaining what they would like. So this is this bath icon. We'll just kind of go into the care menu now and use that as kind of a segue. But Shuckle is just kind of letting you know what it wants, but it's not necessarily mandatory, I don't think, because I don't think the Pokemon will actually leave. All right, so let's see if we can give Shuckle a bath now. The care menu has 3 icons here. You can make a cake, you can have a berry throwing game, or you can have you can bathe your Pokemon. And all 3 of these are just small mini games, basically. Actually, the washing I would say is the least mini game like. It's just kind of rubbing the top of the Pokeball. So now I get to wash my Shuckle. And you do that by using the touch sensitive top of the Pokeball and then clearing off the bubbles with the arrow buttons. And each activity you do kind of raises your affection with a Pokemon, and also you have an overall level. I don't know if you want to call it your trainer level or your overall device level, but that always displays in the corner there. Let's just go through the other care menu items here so you can see what those entail. We kind of previously saw the baking activities when we were trying to get Pikachu at the beginning with a cake, which ended up being a smoothie. The berry throwing game is a simple type of just hitting the center button when the berry is lined up with the Pokemon. So pretty easy, although it gets a little bit faster in later levels. I don't, you know what, doing it through a camera, I'm watching through the camera screen right now. No, that's too fast for me. I did get a new high score though. So those are the care, those are the options under care. And then there are 2 games in the play menu. There is a hide and seek game, and there's also a rhythm game. Let's take a look at the hide and seek game first. Basically, the hide and seek game is just kind of a, cup flipping type of game, and you have to follow where the Pokemon that you have out as your friend is hiding. And it starts out really slow. So to be honest, it's not that engaging, I feel like, for older fans. But then it gets also ridiculously impossibly fast. At that point, I feel like it's just a random guessing game, and you get a 1 out of 3 chance of winning. But I would say the later levels can actually be fun, so I just wish they gave you the option to like skip about 5 of the first stages, because it just takes way too long to get to any sort of enjoyable speed there. The other game is a music rhythm game, and it basically just involves hitting the correct button when the button gets to the tambourine symbol at the end. So you'll see here, you use the buttons, and basically those shapes will tell you which button to use, and you just hit the tambourine. That game doesn't really have a faster version, I guess. You just basically finish after that, rather slow and easy rhythm that they give you. The Pokemon battle is where you can battle and catch wild Pokemon. So this battle system is very simplistic. There's no real strategy involved. Basically, you're going to find a new Pokemon and you have to beat it. This is a partner Pokemon, actually. This is Lucario, and he appears basically the second day after you get Fuecoco. I believe that's what the manual said. So since this is my second time battling after getting Fuecoco, it's time to face Lucario, and I believe that normally it would be random. So we'll try one more battle after this. But basically, you're just mashing the center button to try to fill up the gauge and fire off your special attack. And the opponent's special attack will be lowering your bar and also, therefore preventing you from getting off a strong attack. But Shuckle won. Shuckle persevered and was able to defeat Lucario, I guess. So now we get the catching animation. And we've caught Lucario. So Lucario will be one of those partner Pokemon that we can either use alongside a friend Pokemon or by itself in its room. I do like that the partner Pokemon kind of have separate rooms. Like each room has kind of the color scheme of the Pokemon. And we're so close to level 7 here. So now we have a blue Lucario room. Let's have one more wild Pokemon battle, though. The other thing is that the friend Pokemon will commonly get replaced if you don't, if you get a new partner Pokemon, which obviously only happens 7 times. But the friend Pokemon definitely feels like an afterthought because you have to kind of register it as your friend to start gaining affection again. But that being said, and sometimes you also just get random battles too when you try to go to the home screen. So sometimes these have different triggers. If you get new Pokemon or reach a certain level, you will have the chance to encounter a new Pokemon without battling it, and you have to perform some mini game. So sometimes that is going to be like the hide and seek game, or you're making a cake, and you have to get a satisfactory score to get the Pokemon's friendship and ultimately catch it. So luckily it looks like I did well enough to earn the trust of, well, actually, I shouldn't speak too soon. I have not actually caught it, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to catch it. All right, so we have caught the Mousehold family of 4 form. And actually, yeah, the English even has the family of 4 form there down below. Great job with that, I guess. It is cool that they included English on this device, and fun for fans across the world. And also, I think any kids who are studying English in Japan as well. And, you know, I was a former kids English teacher in Japan too. So I hope that some of my students are actually using this. I mean, that was 6 years ago, so some of them are, you know, in high school now, I guess. But after you get a new Pokemon that is not a partner Pokemon, you're going to have the chance to register it right away as the active friend Pokemon or not. So I think there could be some confusion when you first get the device. Like, what is this screen? What does become friends mean? You have the Pokemon no matter what. It's just if you're going to make it active right away. We're not going to, so I'm going to confirm on the empty box here. And I have reached level 7. So now that we got the random Mousehold battle out of the way, let's try one more Pokemon battle and see what wild Pokemon appears. Oh, okay. So maybe I just gained some affection with Quaxley. I actually thought you could capture a Pokemon each time, but that is apparently not true. So, you know, I have not been able to thoroughly go through this device just in the few days to be able to make a video in a timely manner for YouTube. So there are still things that, like, I don't know. But I'm curious if anyone else has this, if, you know, what the experience has been with finding Pokemon through the battle system. I think that, you know, with the leveling, there are probably some requirements that the device has for unlocking certain things, or maybe you can only unlock one Pokemon each level. I'm actually not sure, so that's interesting. We kind of went over the friend list for switching the friend Pokemon. I honestly don't know why it has the high scores there before you actually get to the list of Pokemon that you have. But you can just go through all the Pokemon there, and then if you click on it, that's when you can see their name and types. So each, you know, if they have 2 types, that second icon is going to be filled in. If they don't, then it's just going to have that slash. The diary menu will allow you to see what you've kind of been doing. So you can see kind of day by day. Day 4, I have become friends with Mousehold. We just saw that. Day 1, I was friends with Fuecoco. Oh, I guess it only has 2 entries. So it doesn't have a very long history to go through, I guess. But I've actually caught many more than just Fuecoco and Mousehold. So not sure the extent of what you can actually keep in the diary. Apparently not much. So that's kind of funny. But yeah, there's a limited look back on some of the stuff you've done or Pokemon you've met. Finally, you have the settings menu. So on the settings menu, you can change whether or not the Pokeball will call out to you. So right now I have it off. But if you wanted to, you could allow it to call out if it wants, if the active Pokemon wants a bath or wants a snack, it can actually make noise and call to you. Just personal preference, whatever you want to do. There is controls for the volume. You can set the clock. You can change the language between Japanese and English from the menu. You can change the brightness of the screen. So there's a quick demo of that. In person, the screen looks a little bit better than I think it's coming off on camera but I wouldn't say, I would say it's a toy LCD, not like a iPhone LCD, obviously. But it gets the job done, I think. Here's a quick demo of the sound levels. Obviously, you do have that mute functionality as well if you don't want sound on. And we saw that the hand color can be changed during the initialization of the device. That can be rechanged in the settings menu. And you can change your name. You can also delete your saved data. So that is kind of a walkthrough of the device and what you can do on it. I would say that it's a little bit less of it could be considered a virtual pet, but it's definitely not akin to a Tamagotchi where you need constant attention to its happiness and hunger. It's more like a collection and affection device because you are trying to raise the affection level of your Pokemon by playing with them and caring for them versus actually having to care for them or they're going to die. They're not going to die, and I could be wrong, but I don't think that they'll leave either. I think that once you earn a Pokemon, basically it stays with you, and I don't know if it loses affection. There may be some mechanic like that, but it won't run away. And what you're really trying to do, and hopefully I'm putting some images on screen right now, but what you're trying to do really for the partner Pokemon is get those, basically get it closer to the screen. And you can tell that it is happier with you because as it's not an evolution in the Tamagotchi sense where your character is growing and evolving, but the sprite itself gets progressively happier and more affectionate looking, basically. Depending on the affection level you have been able to achieve with it. So, in that standpoint, it is, I would say that's like kind of the gameplay and main goal is just to become closer with the partner Pokemon. You can also obviously get affection with a friend Pokemon as well, but their sprites don't change. So, that's more of a personal preference, but since there are a total of 157 Pokemon on here, I think that there's definitely going to be Pokemon that you may like, maybe even more than the partner Pokemon, and may want to have out next to a partner Pokemon. So that is pretty fun if you enjoy virtual pets or just kind of want like a Pokeball shaped, pet to care for, I guess. The touch sensitive part here is not bad, I would say. And some of the animations really are cute, especially Fuecoco here. I'm going to say Fuecoco and Eevee would be my favorite out of the partner Pokemon that they have here. Eevee does not get unlocked until you hit level 10. So I have not unlocked Eevee yet. And you're supposed to be able to tap it too to call it. But I would say the tapping has not worked. I don't know if I'm tapping in the wrong spot or like not fast enough, but that has not really worked for me. Or maybe they need to have like the dialogue bubble above their head to like be receptive to being called. That hasn't worked for me, but I think that is a fun part of the device. The plastic on top, I wouldn't say it's like soft touch rubber, but it is like softer than this like black standard plastic in the middle. So hopefully there wouldn't be any like long-term wear issues on that. But that is one thing, if I'm going to make any critiques of the device, I don't know if there's going to be any long-term wear from like the rubbing, petting motions there. And then also, I think the screen could be a little bit better. And I guess around the screen, you kind of have, I don't know if it's like raised in the edges, but it kind of creates that rainbow effect because of the way the plastic screen is laid over the LCD. So that's a little bit distracting, I guess. So yeah, that along with kind of like the sprite and animations being a little bit stiff, and maybe a little bit less interactive than what people might be used to on other virtual pets. Those are kind of my only small critiques. I know there was a lot of hype for this device, so I'm curious to hear what fans think now that it is out. Let me know in the comments. If you have any questions about the gameplay or whatever, please let me know and I'll try to answer that as well. Luckily this device does have English, so if it were Japanese only, I think that I would be getting more questions, but luckily with the graphics that they kind of show with the gameplay and stuff, I think it's kind of self-explanatory, but I'm happy to try to help with any questions anyone has. So let me know in the comments, and thanks for watching. Give the channel a like and subscribe if you want to see more Pokemon merch. Thanks, everyone.